Knocked Loose have released their third studio album, You Won't Go Before You're Supposed to.
Critical acclaim.
Fucking loose.
Yes, sir. Knocked loose, motherfucker.
Exactly.
This has received a 9 from Anthony Fantano. Beautiful,
Rare.
wonderful, rare Anthony Fantano W. Yeah, right.
Real. That's real by Justin, actually.
The guy who reviewed Sleep Token and gave it like a 2.
Yeah.
I mean, we
don't respect his opinion here.
No. Fuck you, Anthony Fantano. But
Derek and Jacob, I know you guys really have a lot to say about this album. Should I get my quick thoughts out the way?
Yes.
Or should or do you want me to wait until you guys are done?
I think you should chime in as we go.
Actually,
okay,
yeah, you know what?
Let's do that.
This is the first, besides maybe oh god, what was that last EP? This is like your first full Knocked Loose album listen?
I never listened to that EP.
Wow, that is a crime, and you should go watch the long music video for it.
Okay.
Yeah,
perhaps.
Yeah.
I will say I added more than one song from this album into my playlist.
That is more than I would have expected.
More than me.
So, wait, Justin, did you ever listen to this at all?
No, I didn't get to it.
This is my most listened to album, but that's because it released first in the month.
Yeah. So notably, this is 28 minutes long. Like, this is a sub 30-minute album.
Yeah.
Perfect length.
Which, yeah, for Knocked Loose, I think that was one of my. I shouldn't say that.
Tear in the Fabric of Life was 21 minutes,
and was half the number of songs, right?
Yeah. 6 songs instead of 10.
6 songs. Okay, yeah. So I think one of the biggest things with A Different Shade of Blue is that not only had they not fully come into their sound yet, but it was also longer. So it was a lot to listen to in one sitting. What they really achieve in spades here is not overstaying their welcome until they need to. So when you get these short sub 3-minute songs that are blistering and fantastic and heavy, but then when they take, it's almost weird to call 3 minutes and 45 seconds longer. When they take longer on like a Don't Reach For Me, or especially on Sit and Mourn, it feels like it earns its place and makes those tracks stand out more, which is a great way to do it. I know you're particularly interested in Thirst and Piece by Piece, the streets have been saying, Jacob. Is this true?
That's because I've started this album like 20 times. That doesn't mean I've finished it all the time because I'm doing whatever, but yeah, I think Thirst is the perfect opener. It like sets the tone, honestly. You're like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden you're blasted with it. And then Piece by Piece, I have to highlight Isaac throughout the album, but especially in this song, the underlying piece by piece vocal in the background of this song. It's, I don't know. I love the contrast between the two vocalists. I think or actually there's 3, but the main 2. Yeah, I think it's incredible. And then the way it fades into Suffocate, oh my god.
Yep.
Chef's kiss.
That moment right there. Single-handedly, that moment right there made me want to add Piece by Piece to my playlist. That transition. It made me wish I didn't add Suffocate as a single into my playlist. And I guess I could have just added
Suffocate is charting on Billboard right now, I'm pretty sure.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
Suffocate is still the best song on this album, yes?
No.
No. I would say maybe from I want to listen to it standpoint, but I think the best song on this album is Sit and Mourn, like on an objective level.
Yeah.
That's the other song I added to my playlist.
Let's go. What about you, Jacob?
I could say anything, but the calm that keeps you awake is the worst song on this album.
Ooh, why? Like, is there something about it?
It doesn't do anything. Like, it doesn't have anything special moment in it, or I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that. And I think that I really appreciate this album. Sometimes it's hard to understand unclean vocalists, but what I like about Knock Loose, honestly, is that I feel like because he's higher pitched, it's easier to understand him. And getting into lyrics and stuff, I think the calm that keeps you awake is like good for driving the message forward. But yeah.
Don't Reach For Me, I think was a single, correct me if I'm wrong. That song grew on me so freaking much.
Agreed. It was my least favorite single until I heard the album.
100%. And I think like there's a lot of one-liners in this song, but the freaking breakdown line, "I will cut off your tongue."
Fucking,
it's just like,
masters of the craft.
Hardcore as hell.
Yeah. Suffocate also grew on me. I know I kind of criticized it a little bit, but when we reviewed it. But yeah, I think the piece by piece fade in helped it a lot. I think it's Take Me Home. The end of Take Me Home, or actually the whole song sounds like a freaking horror movie. Yeah. But then you get to the end and Isaac's just like, fuck it. and then it goes into Slaughterhouse, which has one of the sickest guitar intros of all time. I don't know why. I don't think I've ever heard a guitar sound like that. Maybe I'm naive, but well,
there are a lot of moments like that on here. The creativity that they can do with guitars is mind-boggling in the way it creates the sound that they're going for. Like you said, it's creepy. It's unnerving. But speaking of, do I have a bad opinion for thinking that Slaughterhouse 2 is the weakest song on the album?
I would disagree.
I disagree.
I
don't like Slaughterhouse 2, but I would disagree. There are songs I like, I don't like.
It's weird because I feel like if I hadn't heard Slaughterhouse, I would like it more. But the callbacks, I appreciate the tie-ins with the callbacks on Chris's vocals, but it just takes me out of the experience.
Oh yeah,
because I don't know. I like them together. I don't like Chris motionless on this album. Like if it had been, for instance, like you're talking about Isaac, if Isaac did Chris's parts and it felt more cohesive front to back, I think this would be like literally a perfect album for me. Because I genuinely, outside of that personal preference, I have no flaws.
Drew Folk produced this, right?
Yes.
I'm reading on Genius that he also screams "Eye for an Eye" in the bridge of Slaughterhouse.
Really?
So all three of them. So Chris, Brian, and Drew Folk are all.
I gotta go back.
Are all screaming that line.
It's fucking crazy. Speaking of Drew Folk, I want to say that I think that what brings this album together and makes it as good as it is by far the production.
Yeah, the atmosphere is insane.
It's unreal how fucking beefy and punchy the drums are. The fact that, to me, the litmus test, and I'll talk about this later too, but for any good rock album, whether it be metal, rock, whatever, is how prevalent and identifiable the bass is. And you can hear it. It's just all encapsulating. You get pulled in by this like wall of sound that creates an atmosphere, and it's just front to back.
That's Isaac again, dude. Isaac's on bass.
Dude, they're fucking killing it, man.
His energy live is insane too. Like Brian is good, but Isaac's energy is always awesome as well. And I'm sad I didn't buy tickets, but
you still could for the low price of $200.
I did a set list creep. Everybody stray away if you don't want setlist spoilers for the Knock Loose tour. But there's only like 3 songs or 4 songs from this album in that set list.
Damn.
Which feels wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm not as sad about missing that now.
Real. No, I don't blame you. I honestly think my favorite part of this album might be Moss Covers All and Take Me Home, like as a collective.
There's three songs.
You found my least favorite part of the album.
And it's the singles. It's the singles.
Honestly, that is a fucking great take. They're also, man, fuck, we just, between that and Sit and Mourn, we just listed like 6 different songs as our favorite, and the fact that they're all on the same album and together. And
dude, I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, I like Sit and Mourn. I don't know if I'd choose it my favorite. I love it in the context of the album, but if I don't think I'd choose it as my favorite. It's either Don't Reach For Me or Piece by Piece. Those are my 2. Blinding Faith is still freaking good too. Oh.
It really is. It was so nice having been familiar with that and listening to it so much to get to that point in the album. I felt like I was seeing an old friend after everything that I'd just been through on the past 8 tracks.
Dude, this album is sold out on Amazon too, so I can't even freaking buy it.
Jeez. Fucking A, dude. It's even the like common
without paying crazy shipping.
Yeah. The common dinky variants, I would say like the most, like even like the fucking 3500 one on Discogs are reselling for like $70 already. It's ridiculous. I should have bought a copy. I didn't because I wasn't sure, and I didn't think
buy my $200 ticket and maybe buy one at the merch table.
Yeah, right. Dude, I'm mad that I didn't get it. I know that I'm inevitably going to drop money on a physical copy of this. It's just a matter of when, because this album is way too good.
Pure Noise Records has, if you're looking.
Get me in there, coach. Yeah, I fuck with this heavily. This album is ridiculous. It deserves all the hype and praise and acclaim that it's been getting. I should have known that Knocked Loose had it in them after A Tear in the Fabric of Life. I just didn't think that it would end up being this good.
Yeah, and yeah, I think you mentioned it earlier that the length of it really helps. Mm-hmm. I also think
can I hijack that point real quick?
Yes.
Because, like, this is not an album that I ever actively see myself being like, oh, I want to go listen to You Won't Go Before You're Supposed To by Knocked Loose. I don't think I am ever going to actively want to listen to this album front to back again. But let's say hypothetically that I do. I feel like this is one of the more enjoyable, unenjoyable albums I've ever listened to.
I think I understand that.
I get it. Let me phrase it this way. Would I rather listen to this, which has high peaks like Suffocate and Sit and Mourn, or would I rather listen to a Nothing Burger of a While She Sleeps album? And I think I probably actually choose this, because at least this is in and out in 28 minutes. There's a couple of highlights, whereas with the While She Sleeps album, it's long, it drags out. None of the songs really gave me anything to chew on for anything more than a day. Like,
Jake, I have the ultimate
I'm not
question
saying
I know that your answer will trigger me, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Would you rather listen to this or Take Me Back to Eden?
Eden.
Oh, okay. I'm not upset.
No, I absolutely would rather. I would listen to Eden 5 times before I'd ever want to listen to this.
Did you really just anticipate Jake to say that he would rather listen to Brian Garris than Vessel?
Yeah.
If you want okay, I'll give you this. I would way rather listen to this than Lorna Shore.
Okay, that comparison. For anyone not familiar, Jake is
if we're expanding how heavy I'm going to go, I am way more likely to lean in this direction than Lorna Shore.
All right.
You're so real and based for that.
Yeah. I think another thing that a critique we had of that Lorna Shore album was the length.
Yeah, and it's also like vocal tricks are cool, but if you do them all the time for like 5-6 minutes, it's nothing. Like and especially because it's harder to discern what they're saying. Like, if you're going to play a song for that long, give me something to latch onto. With this, none of it overstays its welcome. You can actually understand what he's saying most of the time. It gives you a theme and a motif to latch onto. And there are a billion people who are like, oh, Lorna with this and Pain Remains, and he had this to say. It's like, I would have to sit there and put myself through 6-minute songs on repeat to get to that point. This, I can get a whole fucking album in the time it takes me to listen to 4 Lorna Shore songs.
That's so true.
The other thing about this is that even on the songs that I don't like vocally, I'm still able to find moments instrumentally that are hard as fuck and I'm headbanging along to.
Right.
Whereas with a Lorna Shore type song, I am so out of the experience that I'm just kind of staring into the void, you know?
Yeah, there's always something happening.
Whereas with this, even though I wasn't loving what I was listening to, I never found myself disengaged.
And it's just a virtue of both the production, the talent of Knocked Loose, the way that they're always keeping you on your toes with how it's just, This right here is one of those moments like I had with Stand Atlantic last year or I guess 2 years ago now, where I'm like, I genuinely do not know how they top this. Like,
I didn't think they could top a Tear
in the Fabric of Life. That's true.
And they did. But another thing about the Tear in a Tear in the Fabric of Life, can't say that fast. Is the difference between that and this for me is there's actual choruses and verses in these songs.
Yeah,
which makes it a lot more digestible and replayable, as opposed to A Tear in the Fabric of Life. I'm listening for the story.
Yeah,
this I can listen for the sound and just the beat or whatever.
Yeah, you can commit to a listen of this as something to look into and a story to follow, but you don't have to.
Exactly, and I didn't really, honestly.
It's very interesting if you take the time to
like, I have a general idea.
Yeah,
if it's anything like Blinding Faith, and I guess Slaughterhouse, because I know the lyrics of Slaughterhouse from the first one, so.
Well, that's honestly the part of Slaughterhouse that kind of took me out of it, is that like I have the meaning from the original and I don't feel that it fits here. Like the original doesn't have a place on this. And this is like in general, it's not just.
Is it kind of like the American Dream on that Memphis Mayfire album?
Yeah. And to an extent though, like Slaughterhouse 2 does tie into this album on a lot of Brian's parts, but because of the context from Slaughterhouse 1, adding in those same parts from Chris's original vocals, it doesn't do anything for me. That is the one thing I have about this album, is I feel like it creates a very, very well done narrative front to back. It's just, and maybe I'm looking at it from the wrong lens and those same lyrics can apply to this, but just because I've listened to the original so much and have that context, it makes it feel like it doesn't fit here for me. It's like the one part on this album that I'm just like, meh, take it or leave it. Everything else, story, sound, phenomenal.
I think we've said a lot on this one. Any last comments before we move on to an even bigger name?
If you haven't given this Knocked Loose album a try, listen to the hype. Yeah, Justin. I mean,
no comment.
He won't like it. He won't like
it. There's nothing for you here, Justin.
It was surprising that I added more than just Suffocate off of this album.
I kind of accepted that, unfortunately.